What does it really mean to be a psychologically mature adult? It's more than just age or experience. Shocking as it may seem, only 10 to 15% of adults reach full psychological maturity, according to research from the National Institutes of Health. That's right. Most people are stuck in emotional habits they should have outgrown years ago. Think about it. Emotional outbursts, holding grudges, needing constant approval. These are signs of immaturity that we don't always recognize in ourselves. But being psychologically mature can improve everything, from your relationships to your career. Studies even show that psychologically mature adults report 40% more life satisfaction than those still struggling with emotional growth. In this video, we'll break down the 12 key signs that show you're on the right path. From mastering emotional control to thriving in solitude, these are the traits that separate the truly mature from everyone else. Ready to find out where you stand? Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The Power of Self-Acceptance. Recognizing and embracing who you are, flaws and all, is a major step towards psychological maturity. It's not about being perfect, it's about being real with yourself. Studies show that self-acceptance is one of the biggest predictors of overall happiness, yet it's the area people struggle with the most. A survey by the University of Hertfordshire revealed that only 30% of people practice self-acceptance regularly. That's low, right? The trick is starting small. Identify just one trait about yourself that you've struggled with and choose to accept it. The more you practice, the more comfortable you become in your own skin. As Brené Brown puts it, owning our story can be hard, but not nearly as difficult as spending our lives running from it. Chapter 2. Emotional Regulation. Mastery. We all feel intense emotions, but maturity means not letting those emotions control you. Psychologically mature people know how to pause before they react. In fact, emotional regulation is directly linked to better mental health, as noted in a study by the American Psychological Association. Here's an easy technique. Next time you feel anger rising, take a deep breath and count to 5 before responding. This simple act gives your brain enough time to switch from the impulsive fight or flight reaction to a more measured response. Learning to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively is a game changer. As Viktor Frankl said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Chapter 3. Embracing Uncertainty. Life doesn't always come with clear answers. Psychologically mature adults know this, and they find peace in uncertainty. According to research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, those who are comfortable with uncertainty are better equipped to handle stress. So, how do you get there? The key is to focus on what you can control and let go of the rest. Try breaking down a situation into what's within your control and what's not. When you release your need for certainty, you gain mental freedom. Keep in mind what Oprah Winfrey once said, "You don't become what you want, you become what you believe." Quick pause. Subscribe to stay updated, then let's jump right back in. Chapter 4. Living Above Ego. Living above ego doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. It means you don't need to win every argument or prove you're always right. Mature adults realize that ego is a barrier to growth. According to studies on interpersonal relationships, people who score lower on measures of narcissism tend to have healthier relationships and more success in life. One strategy to manage your ego is to practice humility. The next time you're in a conversation, focus on listening more than talking. You'll find that releasing the need to be right actually opens you up to learning new things. As the philosopher Lao Tzu said, "He who knows does not speak. He who speaks does not know." Chapter 5. Building Boundaries, Not Walls. Psychologically mature people know the difference between boundaries and emotional walls. A healthy boundary says, "I care about you, but I also need to care about myself." A wall says, "I'm shutting you out." Boundaries are essential for emotional well-being. According to Psychology Today, People who set clear boundaries report higher levels of self-esteem and life satisfaction. Start small. Next time you feel overwhelmed, politely but firmly say, "I need some time for myself right now." Practicing this lets others know your needs without alienating them. Remember, boundaries protect relationships. Walls damage them. Chapter 6. The Art of Letting Go. Holding on to grudges is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Psychologically mature adults understand that letting go is key to personal freedom. A 2017 study from Harvard University found that those who practice forgiveness and let go of past resentments have significantly lower levels of anxiety and depression. The strategy here is simple but powerful. Shift your focus. Instead of obsessing over what went wrong, ask yourself, what did I learn from this? That mindset shift alone can break the cycle of resentment. Maya Angelou once said, "You can't forgive without loving." And I don't mean sentimentality. I mean having enough courage to stand up and say, "I forgive." Chapter 7. Detached compassion. Caring deeply without losing yourself is a balancing act that few people master. Psychologically mature adults show compassion, but know when to step back. Detaching doesn't mean you don't care. It means you set emotional limits. Research from the University of Michigan found that people with higher levels of emotional intelligence can detach without disengaging from relationships. A simple strategy for practicing detached compassion is to remind yourself, "I'm here for support, but I'm not responsible for their happiness." This mental shift helps you avoid burnout while staying present for others. As Pema Chodron says, compassion is not a relationship between the healer and the wounded. It's a relationship between equals. Chapter 8. Curiosity over judgment. It's easy to judge someone at first glance, but psychologically mature adults prefer to stay curious. Research published in the Journal of Positive Psychology shows that people who are more curious tend to experience higher levels of happiness and life satisfaction. The next time you're tempted to judge, ask yourself, what can I learn from this person or situation? This approach opens the door to growth and empathy. It's about seeing the world with fresh eyes. Author Stephen Covey hit the nail on the head when he said, "Seek first to understand, then to be understood." Chapter 9. Navigating conflicts with grace. We all face conflicts, but how we handle them speaks volumes about our maturity. Psychologically mature adults don't aim to win arguments, they aim to resolve conflicts. Studies show that constructive conflict resolution leads to stronger, more resilient relationships. A practical strategy is to use I statements instead of you statements. For example, instead of saying, "You never listen to me," say, "I feel unheard when this happens." This reduces defensiveness and keeps the conversation focused on solutions. As Dale Carnegie famously said, "The only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it." Chapter 10. The Wisdom of Patience. In a world obsessed with instant gratification, patience is a rare trait, but it's crucial for psychological maturity. Research by Harvard Business School reveals that those who can delay gratification often make better long-term decisions and have more success in life. One practical way to practice patience is through mindfulness. When you feel rushed, pause and take a moment to breathe deeply. This small act helps you slow down and make more thoughtful choices. As Aristotle wisely stated, patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. Chapter 11. Reflective decision-making. Decisions shape our lives, but impulsive choices often lead to regret. Mature adults take time to reflect before they leap. According to a study in the Journal of Behavioral Decision-Making, people who practice reflective decision-making report greater satisfaction with their life choices. The strategy here is simple. Before making a big decision, ask yourself, will this matter a year from now? This question gives you perspective and helps you avoid short-term thinking. As Warren Buffett said, The most important thing to do if you find yourself in a hole is to stop digging. Chapter 12. Thriving in Solitude. There's a big difference between being alone and feeling lonely. Psychologically mature people enjoy their own company and use solitude as a time for growth. A study by the University of Massachusetts found that people who spend time alone for self-reflection are more likely to have higher self-esteem and lower stress levels. One simple strategy to thrive in solitude is to schedule regular me time, even if it's just 15 minutes a day. Use this time to reflect, meditate, or journal. As the poet Rainer Maria Rilke said, "The only journey is the one within." If you found this video helpful, subscribe for more great content like this.